Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Sunday, February 20, 2022, brought to you by Wilkin Depot, the country's leading home improvement and construction supplies retailer. Shop conveniently 24/7 with the Wilkin online store. Just go to shop.wilkin.com.ph. For today's editorial, Diplomacy, a better option in dealing with rising China. Foreign policy looms large in the current election discourse, perhaps because more people are connecting abstract issues with basic needs. The keen interest is mainly focused on China, with whom the Philippines still has competing territorial claims in the West Philippine Sea, or the South China Sea, as others refer to it. Amid talks of sovereignty, freedom of navigation, and even oil exploration, there is a growing domestic concern about protecting the rights of small Filipino fishermen. On occasion, they have been harassed by foreign government ships asserting their competing claims. In other times, the local fisherfolk are crowded out by foreign competitors in bulkier commercial vessels, not only from China, but also from other claimant countries, including Vietnam, Brunei, and Taiwan. Filipinos in small outriggers are simply no match against them. As we mentioned before, some of the local fishermen turn to piracy just to feed themselves and their families. And in this case, the territorial issue also converges with law and enforcement problems. Recently, the precarious situation of local fishermen, who are among the poorest of the poor in the Philippines, received some attention when singer Karil Tatlonghari and her husband's rock band Sponge Cola released a music video on the West Philippine Sea. To be precise, the song also pays tribute to women, farmers, and the Philippine Coast Guard. In a statement, Senator Ana Teresia Risa Ontiveros said, "At a time when the issue over the disputed waters is not dominating headlines, releasing a video like this is essential, as it reminds us not only of the heroism and the daily battles won by rural women for our country's food security, but also of our continued commitment to assert our exclusive sovereign right over the West Philippine Sea." Given the overlapping concerns mentioned earlier, candidates for president in the 2022 elections are fielding more questions about how they will deal with China if elected. But navigating around geopolitical traps is hardly easy. The Philippines cannot ignore China, a rising superpower and one of our closest neighbors. For centuries, Filipinos lived peacefully with the Chinese, trading and sometimes marrying them. Today, China is a major trading and investment partner. Because of these, our national interests should discourage foreign policies based solely on our disputes with China. Fortunately, most of the candidates vying for Malacanang in the May polls this year have said they prefer peaceful options over military confrontation in the West Philippine Sea. Demonizing China might be politically convenient, but it is also harmful to our interests. Instead, the next government will need advanced problem-solving skills anchored firmly on diplomacy. The Philippines needs a game plan to assert our rights and sovereignty while also looking after the economic interests of our fishermen. At the debate joined by the candidates and organized by SMNI in partnership with the Manila Times, Professor Clarita Carla suggested having a fisheries agreement among the countries claiming the West Philippine Sea. Like trade agreements, a fisheries treaty can be multilateral or bilateral, which is likely to be preferred by China. Beijing normally avoids multilateral discussion on anything regarding the West Philippine Sea. The Philippines already has bilateral fishing agreements with Vietnam and Taiwan, but the one with Taipei is more concerned about maritime borders in the northern Philippines, and it may need to be revisited in order to cover West Philippine Sea concerns. And as for China, the tacit understanding between Beijing and the Duterte government, which ends its term in just a few months, should be formalized. Also, any new agreement to be negotiated should go beyond allowing fishing. We also need understanding and cooperation on preserving and protecting marine resources so that fish can continue breeding for generations to come. Any agreement would be meaningless if the stock is depleted because of destructive and unethical fishing practices. That said, the next president should seriously consider the suggestion of Dr. Carlos and other diplomatic solutions regarding China. Given that there are no easy solutions to competing territorial claims, talks on that will likely drag on. Unraveling issues that are entangled with global security concerns always takes time. Meanwhile, people need to eat, and for anyone who often experiences hunger, putting off meals is not an option. And that's the editorial for Sunday, February 20, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.